Welcome to vacationlord.com, your source for tools and tips for managing vacation rentals. I'm going to talk about how to fill out the form called 1099 NEC. This form was created in 2019 to handle contractor income. Now, this replaces the use of the 1099 MISC for the specific case where you're paying contractor income. The 1099 MISC is not going anywhere. It's a more encompassing form that handles many situations. And you're probably familiar with the MISC form. If you get rental income from an agent or a marketplace service, they might send you an MIS form to record the income that they collected on your behalf, and it would be specified as rental income. That's one of the many uses of the MISC, and it was also used to handle contractor income. But in 2019, there was a new form called the NEC, and NEC stands for Non-Employment Compensation. And you would want to use this form if a contractor provided services to you. It could be things like cleaning services, maintenance services, or handyman services, or whatever, similar kinds of things. And here's when you need to use this form. When do you actually need to send out one of these 1099s? You need to use it if you paid a contractor more than $600 during the year. And the contractor must provide actual services to support your rental activity. And what that means is you didn't buy a physical good. They didn't provide a good. They actually did their own work, their own personal work. And also, your payments were written to a person. You actually paid a person and not a company. If you're paying a company for services, you don't need to file an NEC form because the company itself will collect your money as income and they will file it on their taxes correctly. So what the NEC form does is it tells your contractor, I paid you for services and I expect you to file this money as income on your own tax return. So when the contractor gets this form, it informs them that they should file this on their tax return as income. So that's the short summary of what we're going to talk about today. So let's get started. Now, what I have shown here is the original 1099 MISC. This is the form that you might have used previously to send out income, contractor income, to anyone who provided services to you. So this is what this form looks like, and you might specify other income here. Now, as you can see, this is used for many other things which are not related to specifically to employment income. So this form, you would not use this anymore. You probably could use it, but it's discouraged to use this because using the new NEC form makes it explicitly clear as far as what kind of income it is. So here's the NEC form. As you can see, it's much more specific. It's simpler and more specific to the case where it's used. Now, in order to file this form, you need to create two forms. You need to create one form that you send to your contractor, and you need to create a second form that you file with your own tax return. Now, the one that you send to the contractor tells the contractor that you provided services to me and I paid you this income. And the version of the form that you create for yourself says, I paid this income to this person. And it's a declaration that you paid out income, and it tells the IRS that I paid out this income, and that the person that received the income will file that income on their own tax return. So that's the starting point. You need to create two forms. So let's start with the first form, which is the contractor. So you want to go up to here to what's called the recipient. Copy B for the recipient. So let's start with this. We'll just enter some information in here. So let's see. Let's say my name is Tom, and I live at 123 Main Street, anywhere in New York. So you enter your name here, an address, and payer's TIN and recipient's TIN. So this is a taxpayer identification number. So this one would be yours, so we're going to say it's all zeros. And let's say the recipient's TIN is now, normally this is a social security number. It could also be a TIN, which is another kind of identifier that a person might have. Now, when you're actually filing this form, when you're sending this form to the recipient, to the contractor, you actually don't want to specify the entire taxpayer identification number for privacy purposes. So the acceptable way of doing this is to just specify the last 4 digits. So in this case, we would put dashes in all of the places for both numbers to provide security. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, dash, and then 0, 0, 0. So what this does is, so this form can now be sent. It doesn't require as much security to send this form because the numbers have been obscured. So this is what you would do if you were when you're sending it out to your recipient. So the recipient's name we're going to say is some contractor who lives on 345, some contractor who lives on 345 Central Avenue in some town, New York. Okay. And so you just specify the recipient's name, the recipient's TIN, and you just enter in the compensation. So we're going to say $5,000. And there you go. That's what you would how you can complete this form. So that's the form for the recipient. So you would save this out to a PDF, and what I usually do is I could text it or send it in an email or any kind of other electronic means, and then, or if you really want to old school, you could send it in mail, I suppose. So that would be the one that would be sent to the contractor. Now, the one that you file with your tax return essentially has the same information. Let's go down to copy C for the payer. So we're going to enter the same information here. Tom, 123 Main Street, anywhere, New York. Now, the one that you file with your tax return will have the full TINs on it because it's going to be filed securely with your tax return. So you would not obscure the numbers. Some contractor. And we'd also specify the same $5,000. And there you go. That's how you would save this, and you would file this particular copy with your tax return. Now this assumes that you're actually filing it on paper. Now if you're using any of the tax programs such as TurboTax or H&R Block, you would need to buy the business edition or the higher end software where these forms can actually be created electronically, and they can be filed electronically, but the standard or the deluxe versions of the software do not handle that. So you would need to buy the more advanced version. Now, if you have enough of these, if you're paying enough people and you have many of them and you want to keep track of them, then you may want to just upgrade and use that version of the software to handle this. But this gives you, what we just discussed here, just gives you the idea of what needs to be done to satisfy the filing requirements. So there you go. That's everything we need to discuss. And if you have any questions, let us know. You can leave comments down below this video or contact us on our About Us page. Thanks for watching.